How's everyone doing? Today I'll be doing a video on the top 10 horror remakes on Blu-ray. Now these aren't the best horror remakes of all time or the best Blu-ray horror movies of all time. These are the top 10 horror remakes that are out on Blu-ray right now. Now remake can be a subjective term as well. You could be remake, reimagining, whatever you want to call it. If there was a previous horror movie out there and then a later one, I'm going to consider it for this list. And as always with every top list, this is all subjective, so let me know what you think of my choices and what ones would be on your list as well. And let me know if you've seen any of these movies. Now let's get on to the list. At my number 10 spot is Let Me In, a very unique take on the vampire genre. I think this movie is actually very good. I think it was unnecessary because Let the Right One In was a fantastic movie, a cinematic masterpiece. But this one is actually really enjoyable, great acting, especially from the young child actors, especially Chloe Grace Moretz. And I also really like actor Elias Koteas, who is just a great character actor. He's been around for a long time. It's great to see him in more movies. And I just really thought this was a good remake. Again, not as good as the original, it's just right there, but it's one of those ones that I really liked, but it felt kind of conflicted because it was unnecessary. But great drama all throughout, and it's really horror drama. It transcends genres, and I love the last shot of this movie as well, and the child actors did a fantastic job. That's really what elevates this film. And I really like the bond that the two young children form, or at least the one child and the vampire. It really plays up that bond and that human element too. It's very thrilling, gripping, suspenseful. I love the cinematography. Great vampire movie. And at my number 9 spot is I Spit on Your Grave. Very few remakes are better than the original. I think this is one of those cases. This is just better on every level. Cinematography, acting, writing, directing. Everything was better about it. I think it's just really disturbing and gritty and raw and riveting. It's a rape revenge film, and the first half is just, setting up the character, and then what happens. She goes to a secluded cabin to essentially write, and she's just terrorized, and she's beaten and raped and, left for dead essentially. But she ends up to be still alive, and she goes after every one of the attackers and takes out her brutal, bloody revenge in some crazy, over-the-top ways. That shotgun scene towards the end of this one was just crazy. This version definitely has a lot more intricate revenge scenes, a lot more gore. It's just really dirty and a fantastic rape revenge film. Some of it towards the end is a little bit too much, almost goes off into the Saw realm with some of the revenge contraptions and things that happens, but still very enjoyable and one of the better horror remakes out there. And my number 8 spot is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. First of all, this gets such a bad rap, and it doesn't deserve to. I think mostly because of the cast. Eric Belfort, Jessica Biel, they're young, been in kind of more trendy movies and TV shows and things like that. Actors you wouldn't really expect to be in horror movies, but I think they both did very well, especially Jessica Biel. I really liked her performance in here. And Arlie Emery was awesome as the sheriff. Just fantastic. Loved him in this. It's basically a modern retelling of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, but with lots of gore. It's just really dirty and gory, and you see way more of Leatherface. He's picking apart his victims and what he's doing to them. And the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie was really more about the thrills and suspense. There wasn't any gore or blood or anything like that. This one though is blood-soaked, gore just all throughout, but it also has a lot of suspense and tension all throughout as well. Very thrilling movie, and it starts out with a bang right from the beginning of the movie when they pick up the hitchhiker. Very stylistic, very gory, and very thrilling. Great horror remake in my opinion, and it gets a bad rap, unnecessarily so. And at my number 7 spot is Gore Verbinski's The Ring. This movie just totally creeped me out. I saw it in theaters at an advanced screening when I was in college, and it's one of those ones that just sticks with you. I actually prefer this over Ringo as well, the original. I think this one is just very stylistic, great cinematography, great acting all throughout. I thought everybody played the roles perfectly. And Samara, the young child actress who played Samara, did a fantastic job. Samara was just totally creepy. And I really like Naomi Watts as the lead as well. You have the videotape that if you watch it, you die 7 days later. And, she's trying to investigate to try to save her son. And she finds out more about who's on the videotape and the visions. And you can see how creepy she is right there. And Samara and the well. And it's just so many creepy images all throughout. It's just really visceral. It's one of those ones that stays with you. Great thrills, great suspense, very scary in my opinion. Absolutely love this one. And my number 6 spot is Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. I love the original one. The original is one of my all-time favorite movies. This one right here is a great modern take on it, in my opinion. Both movies are very different stylistically. This one is a modern take on it. Lots of gore, lots of fast-paced action, just thrills all throughout. Great cast. Ving Rhames, Mekhi Phifer, Sarah Polley. Everybody in here did a fantastic job. I really like Jake Weber as well. You really kind of root for him. And I like the cameos from Ken Foray and Tom Savini. Very fitting. And you know, they're holed up in the mall and they have to work together, and there's conflict between certain characters. And then there's a zombie baby. How can you beat the zombie baby? That's awesome. And there's so many little things in here that they really expanded on as well. It doesn't have that same kind of social commentary as it did with the original, but this one has so many different things going on, very unique take, like when they were taking out the zombies, when they're on the rooftop and they're saying, you know, the look-alike celebs, you know, Burt Reynolds look-alike and things like that. And when they're going through the parking garage and all the different things that happen with the different zombies, there's all kinds of unique takes going on here. And I think this movie is an all-time zombie classic, great horror movie, fast-paced action, tense moments, great characters. You really get invested in some of the characters and great acting throughout. And my number 5 spot is Frank Oz's Little Shop of Horrors. Little Shop of Horrors. This is a fantastic horror musical comedy, and everybody was perfect in this movie as far as the cast. I love Steve Martin as the jerk dentist boyfriend. John Candy was great. Bill Murray was fantastic. Rick Moranis as Seymour, and Levi Stubbs from The Four Tops doing the voice of Audrey 2. There's so many great shots and scenes, memorable moments in here. The shot from the dentist's office from the teeth view, really like that as well. And Seymour has a crush on Audrey, and they work at a flower shop together, and they find Audrey 2 right there, and they find Audrey 2 needs blood to survive, and so they're feeding it blood, and slowly gets out of control, and Audrey 2 has a secret plan to take over the world, and Audrey 2 gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and feed me! Great horror elements, great comedy elements, great musical, just a very entertaining movie overall, and a great remake. And my number 4 spot is Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Just a classic pod people movie, alien invasion, where these pods come down and they take the form of the humans, and nobody can really tell the difference. Great cast: Donald Sutherland, Leonard Nimoy, Jeff Goldblum. Awesome. And it's just totally creepy. Great sci-fi horror movie. Great remake as well. This is one of those ones that I think surpasses the original, and just a lot of paranoia, just a great suspense and build-up, a lot of dramatic pacing that really works well for this film. You get invested in the characters, and it's just a great payoff at the end. And it's a very fitting allegory for the Cold War era times, with, you know, people being spies and things like that as well. And I just thought this was really chilling. You know, the alien invasion, you can't tell who's who to trust. Lots of atmosphere, paranoia all throughout. Great thrills, and fantastic all the way around. Great cast. Everybody played their roles just perfectly. And my number 3 spot is David Cronenberg's The Fly. Love the cast here. Gina Davis, Jeff Goldblum. This movie totally grossed me out when I was younger. It still grosses me out to this day. The transformation scenes are just really just disgusting to watch. But I think the acting from Jeff Goldblum was fantastic. He was perfect for this role. You really get invested in these characters, and you really feel for him, especially when he's transforming into the fly creature, and when he's trying to talk to Gina Davis. You really feel that sense of humanity still inside of him. It's really kind of heartbreaking when he's this grotesque fly creature, and Gina Davis really kind of still feels for him a little bit. It's really touching and gross at the same time. It's an updated take on the classic Fly movie with the fly-human hybrid. Just creepy, atmospheric, good thrills in here as well, and I love the characters, great acting, and a fantastic remake. Cronenberg is a fantastic director, and he did a great job here. And my number 2 spot is Alexander Aja's The Hills Have Eyes. This movie blew me away when I first saw it. I think this movie is just as good as the original, if not better. I know there's a lot of purists out there who just hold strong to the original, but I think this one actually has a lot of tension, just as much character development, actually adding more to the storyline and plot. And this movie just has tons of gore, dirt, grittiness, and it's just raw and unnerving. Tons of suspense and thrills all throughout. It's about a young family getting trapped in the middle of the desert, and they think their car breaks down, and it ends up that they were being trapped. And it happens where they used to do these nuclear testing out in the middle of the desert, and then there's these inbred, mutated people that come out there and savagely, attack them, and they have to fight to survive, and it's just totally disturbing, especially the creature effects. You see some of these mutated, inbred people that are just so mutated, some of them can't even get out of the chair. They're so disgusting looking, and there's tons of gore, and it's really just savage, and oh, what a shocking, great update on The Hills Have Eyes. Alexander Aja did a fantastic job. The splat pack in full effect here. Fantastic gore effects. And it's just so gritty and nasty. You have these cannibalistic inbred mutant freaks that are just psychotic and trying to kill you, and oh, so disturbing. Love it. And on my number 1 spot for top horror remakes on Blu-ray is John Carpenter's The Thing. Was there ever any doubt? One of the greatest sci-fi horror films ever made, the ultimate alien terror, excellent on every level. John Carpenter's directing, Dean Cundey's cinematography, Ennio Morricone's score, Rob Bottin's practical effects. All the actors did a fantastic job in here. Kurt Russell, Wilford Brimley, T.K. Carter, Keith David, they all play the roles just perfectly. You have that heightened sense of paranoia, who's really a real person and who's the alien. You have this alien that can shapeshift and take the form of any living creature, dog, human. So everybody's kind of turning on one another because they don't know who's really themselves or who's the alien. And it has a great feel of isolation as well. They're in this Antarctic research station. They can't get away. There's snow all over the place. Blizzard-like conditions, just mountains of snow all over the place. And they're trying to survive against this alien creature. Very tense and suspenseful all throughout. Great pacing. The dramatic effect with the score really works well. You get that heightened sense of paranoia and isolation all throughout. That heart-pumping score, really adds to the effect of this movie. Great creature effects, so many memorable scenes all throughout, great characters, just so many cool effects as well. The practical effects, way ahead of its time, still great for today's standards. I'll take these practical effects way over CG effects any day. Fantastic gore effects, fantastic creature effects, just so many cool transformation scenes as well, and the different way the alien can survive. The head comes off, the stomach opens up and chomps down like Jaws. Tons of crazy effects all throughout, just totally gross out effects. And I love movies with a snowy setting, and for me this is the best movie with a snowy setting out there. This is the best horror remake ever. This happens to be my all-time favorite movie as well. Just an all-time classic, and definitely the best horror remake on Blu-ray. So there you go, there are my top 10 horror remakes on Blu-ray. If you've seen these movies, definitely let me know what you think of them as well. And let me know what you think of my choices and what movies would be on your list for top 10 horror remakes on Blu-ray. Leave me a comment or video response down below. Hope everyone's doing well. Take care.